Hello everyone, this is Ivy the Occultist, and today we're going to be talking about incense and powders. This is something that I have recently reintroduced back into my practice after a long hiatus, and I am so obsessed with making my own incenses and powders right now that I just had to make a video about it. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why you should make your own incense versus store-bought. And by the way, you can totally buy store-bought incense. I still do that too, okay? But I'm going to make a very compelling case today for why you should be making your own incense. And I'm also going to talk about my favorite way to make loose incense. And I'm also going to share some of my favorite blends at the end of this video as well. So we're just going to be talking all about incense and powders in this video. And this video is going to be kind of complimentary to my magical oils video. So if you have not seen that, I will link it down below. I deep dive into magical oils, how to use them, tons of inspiration, my favorite oils, just different ways that you can use magical oils in your witchcraft practice, your folk magic practice, your ritual practice, whatever your occult workings look like. But before we get into incenses and powders today, I just wanted to remind everybody that I still have the 20% off of Magic Mind if you want to try this little productivity shot for yourself. I talked about it in my last video when I shared the spell for how to absorb knowledge easily. So I talked about it in great lengths in that video. I'm not going to go into great lengths in this video. So this is a little green juice. It's a little productivity shot that I've been taking before all of my major study sessions or anytime I need high focus. I swear it's like a little smart drug for my brain, but like an all natural version. But anyways, go check out Magic Mind. I will leave the link below in the description box, as well as my code for the 20% off up on the screen. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Why should you create your own incense and your own powders? The first thing that I want to talk about here is the amount of quality control that you have, as well as the control over the metaphysical properties going into that blend. And you can really deepen your relationship with plant spirits as well when you're working with them, especially if you're creating a loose incense blend of a plant that you've been working with. And there's like a whole process to working with plant allies. I'll link my plant spirit and tree spirit video down below. There's a whole process to even harvesting the plant in the first place. But if you're working on building a deeper relationship with these plant spirits, making your own incense blends and powders from these plants is a great way to do that. Also, it's easy. It is so easy to make your own incense, and I'm going to show you in this video literally how easy it is. And I want to talk about incense a little bit deeper because it's not just something that smells nice. I mean, although the aroma can fill a room and it can be a psychological trigger to get you into a certain altered state of consciousness or a certain way of being, but you can actually use the smoke in ritual as well. So you can use the smoke to cleanse a space or clear it out energetically before you perform your ritual. You can also use the smoke from specific plant spirits to pass your ritual tools over, or to consecrate your ritual tools by passing them through a specific kind of smoke. You can also take plants that are associated with prophecy and lucid dreaming and altered states of consciousness and burn them. Obviously, make sure that the plants that you're using are safe to breathe in, but you can use that smoke as smoke scrying, and you can do some divination that way and deepen your connection to these plant spirits that are correlated to prophecy and psychic sight. You can also use certain incense blends as offerings to certain spirits or certain gods. There are going to be different plants associated with different deities, and so you can use this as an offering or even as a way to entice that spiritual entity into your ritual space. So if you're working with a spirit that is associated with roses, if you're burning a rose petal incense blend, that is a really nice way to offer aroma to them and also entice them into your space so that you can work with them. And I think I'm going to title this video Incense and Powders, but really incense powders, to me they're like the same thing. And incense is something that you burn for the aroma, but the way that I'm making my incense is in powder form, so it's also a powder that you can use for magical purposes. So yes, you can burn it for that lovely aroma and then use the smoke in your magic, but you can also take the powder that you create and apply it to candles. You can add it to spell jars. You can add it to little sachet bags for your spell work. So powders are very versatile. You can throw them into anything, and again, they're so fun to make. So let's get into how to make your own incense powders, and also if you don't even want to burn it as loose incense, what other options do you have? Do you want to see how easy it is? It's literally so easy. You pick what plants you want to work with, look up some metaphysical properties or plants where you're working on developing those plant spirit allies. You get a mortar and pestle, You throw them in there and you mash them up. And actually, quick tip, I personally like to take my herbs and put them in a coffee grinder afterwards. So what I'll do is I'll grind them down in my mortar and pestle first to get the bits a little bit smaller, and then I will transfer it to my coffee grinder to really get it that really fine consistency, just super, super fine powder. And as far as aromatics go, how to make a really delicious incense blend, something that's really pleasing, I actually learned this from Blade and Broom. So I'm gonna link their YouTube channel down below in the description box. They have lots of really great videos, but I learned the FLOWR method from them, and it's something that I have personally been utilizing when making my incense blends, and it has changed the aroma so much. So I highly recommend using the FLOWR formula for all of your blends if possible. So the FLOWR acronym, I will try to put it up on my screen, but the F stands for flower, of course. So here you would want to add flower heads, berries, petals, fruits, anything that pertains to the actual flower part of the plant. The L stands for leaf, so this is obviously the green leafy part of the plant. The O stands for oil, so this can be an essential oil, this can be a ritual oil, it can be whatever additional correspondences you want to throw in there, and you really only have to add a couple drops to it. The W stands for wood, so this can be bark, roots, nuts. It just gives it a really nice woodsy underlying smell. And the R stands for resin, so this gives it a really smoky richness. So I don't use the FLOWR method for every single incense blend that I create or every magical powder, but I have been using it for a couple, and it's to die for. You definitely have to try it out. It's just so deep. When the aroma fills up a space, there's something so magical about it, so definitely give it a try. So after you have ground up your loose incense, what do you do with it from here? What I like to do is I take a charcoal disc, and I usually recommend using tongs for this so you don't burn your fingers, but I know a lot of witches that just don't care and grab the charcoal disc with their fingers anyways, but I typically use tongs. And you hold the charcoal disc, you light it up, and you can kind of see this pattern moving across the whole charcoal disc. And when that pattern has crossed the whole charcoal disc, you know that it is fully lit up, it is starting to get warm, it's ready to go. And so then you just take it and you place it in your cauldron, or if you don't have a cauldron, some sort of fire safe dish will work just fine. But that little charcoal disc will actually last a really long time. And then what you do from there is you just take a little bit of your loose incense and you drop it right on top of that charcoal disc, and it smokes really wonderfully. It fills up the space, and again, I mean, a little bit goes a long ways. This really smokes for a good amount of time. So that's the easiest way that I have found to burn incense and powders during my rituals, but you can also turn these into incense cones if you want to. So you'll just need some sort of binding agent, but if you have your incense powder, all you need to do is add a little bit of mako powder. I will add that up on the screen so you can see the spelling, but that acts as a really good binding agent. There's many binding agents that you can use for this, but I suggest using mako powder, and then you add just like a little bit of water so it turns it into a paste. You stir it up, and then you can create incense cones from that paste. You let it dry, and then you have homemade incense cones. Very simple to do. I don't personally recommend making incense sticks because that is a whole nother process, and to me it's way too complicated and time consuming, so I'm not really going to talk about making incense sticks in this video because I personally prefer loose incense and cones. But let's change topics a little bit because I want to show my favorite blends right now, the ones that I have personally created that I've been working with. I've been making so many powders recently. My coven just recently spent a whole week on incense powders, and it has really sparked like creativity and obsession in me. I can't stop. Once I started doing it, I'm obsessed now. I literally can't stop making these. But I definitely want to show you my favorites because I have 3 that I'm working with right now, and they are fantastic. So here are the 3 incense blends that I have been working with the most recently, and they all have different names and different energies to them. So this one over here is Mastermind. We have Money and Magic. So these are the 3 that are my favorites: Mastermind, Money, and Magic. Sorry, my fairy lights are like right in the way of filming this, but Mastermind is a blend that I made for mental focus, mental clarity, improving genius. I talked about it in my last video a little bit as well, but it has eucalyptus, peppermint, ginger root, rosemary, and a couple drops of a mint oil. So I did not follow the FLOWR method for this one, but it still smells amazing. I really feel like it's like invigorating activating your brain as you smell it. This second one is called Money. So this one I have been using in all of my money spells. Anytime I'm doing a candle spell, I am going to anoint the outside of the candle with this money powder. And the money powder has basil, Egyptian chamomile, blessed thistle, bay leaves, patchouli, and then a few drops of some sort of money oil. So it's just really luxurious. It's so luxurious. It makes me feel rich when I use it. Smells amazing. And then this last one here is my favorite. This is the one that I use the FLOWR Method for. It smells so good. So this is the one that's called Magic, and it's great for getting into altered states of consciousness and kind of preparing a space for a magical ritual. So I burn it before all of my rituals, and I really feel like it's been helping me get into the right mental space. So it has rose petals, yerba santa leaves, sweetwood, wild cherry bark, licorice root, amber resin, frankincense resin, and a few drops of my favorite prophecy oil that smells so delicious. So yeah, those are the three that I have been using. I hope this video has been inspiring for you. Also, you can see me in the reflection up here, kind of. Hello. Anyways, let me know your favorite incense blends in the comments. I am always looking for new concoctions. And again, I have so many other powders that I'm not going to go through on this video. These are just the main three that I have been working with most recently, but I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in another video soon.